Farm. I assume you read the title, so just be hanging out, and I'll be checking my phone every once in a while to see if anybody said anything. Sorry about that. Just went to go check on something. I got a bunch of pine shavings and chips to put on the ground here because it's been a lot of bad weather lately, and it doesn't completely flood back here, but I could use some more drainage or whatever else. It's made for animal vets, or it's not made for it, but a lot of, you know, people use it for uh, livestock vets. So, should be able to handle what I'm going to be doing out here. Just making sure it was on. I'm going to use the rice. I'm going to use the rice cooker to cook some popcorn. Uh, I'm going to moisturize it. That's the main point. And I'm going to add a shot of this corn syrup because that makes the mycelium grow faster. Gotta get energy, right? Unfortunately, I don't have a reliable water source out here. So I got one of these bad boys, and I'll just refill it whenever it runs out. So got a little ahead of myself there because you need to add the popcorn first or the rice to see how much water you're going to need. So, like I said, I got a little ahead of myself. I'm not used to doing it on camera. Not yet. You want about an inch of water over whatever you're going to be cooking in the rice cooker. That's just a general rule. Thought I had a shot glass over there because you only want 1.5 ounces of this. But I'll be able to eyeball it. I mean, I know about how much. I know it comes out slower than in a liquor bottle, but let's see. On second thought, maybe not. I wonder if I did this on private or something, or unlisted. Because usually I got some viewers, but right now I got 0. Probably doing something wrong. I'm gonna end this one. Oh wait, no, someone showed up. I thought I might have set this to unlisted, but no, someone's here. Hello. How you doing? I'm looking for a shot glass. I'm cooking some popcorn in the rice cooker over there, and I add a shot of corn syrup to it while it's cooking. And what that does is whenever I inoculate it, it gives the mycelium a little something extra to eat on in the jar, and it'll colonate the jar much faster than if you were to not put corn syrup in it. And I believe I've talked about it before, but it's the Drizzy corn method that I've learned from the Philly teacher. Check him out. He's awesome. Let's see. I swear I had a shot glass out here because I made Drizzy corn out here last. I'll just eyeball it. It should be no problem. That looked like about 1.5 ounces, right? I think so. Now that'll take about 30 minutes, and in the meantime, I was going to make some grain bags for my lion's mane. Over here, I have the substrate in the bags. So let me figure out how I'm going to film this. Because I want everybody to be able to see it all. I should have thought about this first, shouldn't I? Because I got so many camera arms. I got 2 camera arms. I don't have so many. I'm gonna go grab one. It's right next door, and when everybody accuses me and of being a freaking meth lab, it's not. So stop saying that. Be right back. See? Told you. And I attached it to this plank, or whatever you want to call it, just so I could walk around with it. So, I'm gonna move you over here. There you go. Oh, no, we don't. Okay. There we go. Gotta unplug my phone. Yep. I'm just gonna lean it over here on the canopy. You can see my efforts. Well, I guess there aren't as many now. There were tons of zip ties just all around here because I was trying to get this bar mounted in a way that was satisfactory to me. And I gave up. So that's why the camera arm is just on a bar. But if it works, right? If it's stupid and it works, then it's not stupid. Okay. Oop, oop. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. I can move this back a little bit. Close the corn syrup, because I definitely don't want to spill it. I mean, that's how you get ants! I also got some rancid looking honey out here. I use honey to make liquid culture. Man, my hands got sticky after that for some reason. Got a napkin over here. Over here. Somewhere. There we go. More of a rag, but. And down here is the main area I wanted to put these pine chips. But as you can see, I just haven't done it yet. It's been a busy holiday, and even though 2025 just started, it's been busy. But it's only been busy because I won't quit doing stuff, like, you know, outside of normal business hours. Once this popcorn with the corn syrup in it gets going and boiling, it smells so freaking good. I've had to resist the temptation to just get a spoonful of it and eat it myself. Being like, there's no reason I shouldn't do it, but it just seems like maybe I shouldn't? I don't know. You let me know. What do you think about it? Okay. So, in this 5-gallon bucket, there's a lot. There's cocoa core, which isn't very necessary for what I'm going to use these grain bags for, but it's not going to hurt it either. There's millet, there is hardwood chips, not chips, but pellets, ginseng, and vermiculite. And most of the stuff in here I got from North Spore, but not all of it. one time I had a freaking, uh, whatchamacallit, 5 gallon bucket of substrate, and it got contaminated before I even got a chance to try to inoculate it or add it to a tub or anything. But it was in an old bucket that I hadn't used in a while. So as soon as I opened it, I knew that it was going to be unusable. Because, I had to peel off the lid, and whenever it got a little crack in it, I heard the gas air exchange. And what it was is something was alive in the bucket. It was breathing all the oxygen and breathing out carbon monoxide. And whatever was in it was starting to suffocate. I probably should have kept it closed longer. I just threw it all out because I didn't have any grain in that substrate. Coco Core is low nutrition, but it's not invulnerable. So the old bucket that got contaminated, it didn't have any of the wood pellets and millet and, all that fancy stuff. So I didn't feel too bad about throwing it all out. And I wasn't going to sterilize it. Like, if I was going to sterilize anything in that bucket, I wouldn't have cared. Like, so what? I mean, it might be alive now, but it's not going to be after I put it in one of those pressure cookers. I just pointed at the rice cooker, not the pressure cooker, but still, you know what I mean. But, so yeah, whenever I peeled the lid off, it just like, I was like, oh my god, something's in there. Something is very alive in there. It might have suffocated, but if it was on the verge of suffocation, it just got all the oxygen it could ever want. But this, thankfully, it didn't, let's just say scream at me whenever I opened the lid. So I don't believe anything is alive in here, and it just looks like how I left it on that live stream 2 weeks ago or something. I want it to be more active on here, and I plan to be in the future. But, I mean, what can I say? It's the holidays, so I'm sure everybody here gets it, right? I don't know if you can hear Darcy and Henry in the background, but they're back there. I'm not going to move too much. I just don't really want to squat as much to get in the frame. Hello. 3 people. Oh yeah, I always forget to read. Hello. Helly. Frankie. This is so interesting. I love that you are live, streaming what you enjoy doing. Never stop the grind. I wish you the best, and I hope everything goes right. Thank you, Frankie. Or Frank? No, it is Frankie. Thank you. I appreciate that. But as far as never stop the grind, that would mean I'd be immortal. And I don't think grinding for, infinity would be very pleasurable. So I'll grind for now. And in the future, hopefully not so much, But to get the grain out of the 5-gallon bucket, I'm going to use this garden shovel. Very nifty. Usually I wouldn't use a tool like this because I use it in my actual garden. So this thing has probably got 5 million different types of bacteria on it. But everything that's in this 5-gallon bucket is going to go into a pressure cooker. So anything that is alive, I'm going to kill it. Or more precisely, the pressure cooker is. So I don't worry about using a garden tool that has contamination on it. If this was substrate that I was just going to use to add to a tub with a grain jar that's already been colonized, I would never use something like this. That would be begging, asking, pleading for things to go wrong. So just in case there's anyone with a little bit of experience watching this right now and they're like, what are you doing? That's what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm out of breath. That's always a good sign. You go, get out of breath just talking. Like, oh man, I need to quit smoking. That's what I need to do. Like, that's the answer. That's the problem. That's the solution. Yeah, but, you know, addiction and such, it's just, you know. Grab something right here. Got a scale. I want to make sure all the grain bags weigh the same. I'm going for about 2 pounds each with these. I have some much larger grain bags that I put 4 pounds of grain in, but right now I want to get a lot of grain bags going with a lot of different species of mushroom. So I'm going to do smaller bags so I can do just that. It was set to grams for some reason. Why would it ever be set to grams? I don't know. That's weird. 1.2 pounds. So basically double it. Five more ounces. That's bag one. What am I doing? I was going to grab this thing. There's like a whole nother world over there on that side of the canopy. But this is what I use to seal the grain bags. So I figured I should probably bring it over here to where the grain bags are. I don't have anything for you yet, pressure cooker. I'm trying. I'm trying. Sorry about that. I really should have done that before I went live, but here we are. This thing works really well. I just suck at using it, I guess. Like, you gotta hit both of these bars, or this bar on both sides down here. And for some reason, I'm bad at it. I don't know how you become bad at something like that, but and this thing, it'll also vacuum seal, but that's not something we need to happen. Okay. See? Told you. Like, I'm not good at preparing the bag. I'm not good at using the machine. But I decided to start a business where that's like at least 20% of the job. It's like, come on. I'm saying that to myself. But, like I said, or, like I mentioned, we don't need to vacuum seal this because there's a big hole in the front. It's a micro spore filter. What's beeping at me? What's beeping at me? See how, like, trying to hit these bars. The best way I found to do it is to put something heavy behind it. Just stick it, whatever, in there. There. So hard. Whenever I use it for storing meat, it's easier because I'm in the kitchen, I'm on the counter, and there's a wall behind it. But out here, I gotta improvise. Thankfully, I make do. You don't want to pull it out too fast because it, just became sealed, so it's still pretty hot, and if you pull too fast, it could rip it and make the seal not sealed. So, as you can see, pretty nifty. And that's something, I just kind of had. There's a lot of things whenever I started this business that's just like, I just kind of have a little bit of it, like the stuff I need. There was a lot of stuff I had to buy, but there's also a pretty good bit of stuff that I just had because, I try to keep up with things as far as, utility, live in a house, own a house. I'm the only person that takes care of it. I probably shouldn't say that on the internet because I know how you people are. But like, I'm doing homestead stuff. I'm doing small business owner stuff. I'm doing home maintenance stuff and keep up with the house. It's just, oh my God, I'm so busy. It's just unbelievably, I'm always so busy. I'm not complaining, but I guess I'm venting, I guess you could say. But I mean, that's just how it's been since I've been 22. Because whenever I got my CDL and went out on the road, it's not like anyone was there. I was alone on the road for 8 years. Well, the last four I had Darcy, thankfully. But most of the time it was just me versus the world. And the world won a lot of the times. But in the end, I feel like I came out on top, but it's not over. There's still a whole lot of, you know, fighting left to do. But I wish I had my ride or die. It's like, it's me and you versus the world. Whether that be like a romantic partner or just a best friend, or even if it's like a business partner, it's just nice to have that ride or die, like our, not survival, but continued flourishment kind of relies on each other. And, you know, must be nice. I wouldn't freaking know. Yeah. That looks about right. Let's see. It's 1.5 ounces short, but I think that's fine. It looks pretty good to me. mentioned smoking earlier. I'm trying to chill out on the cigarettes by using a vape to kind of quell the cravings. It helps. I can definitely go way longer in between cigarettes with itself, but it's still just feeding the addiction when I'm trying to do the opposite of that. 4.7 ounces over, but I think that'll be okay. This corn is starting to smell really good. I'm starting to get hungry. I'm not really a huge Korn fan. I mean, I love Korn, the band Korn. But like, corn, the vegetable, I like corn on the cob a lot. That's one of my favorite vegetables. But as soon as you take it off the cob, I don't want anything to do with it. As far as eating it goes, I'm cooking some right now. That's having something to do with it. Excuse me. Let's see what we got over here. Hello, single viewer. I appreciate you. I'm happy you're here. Two. Oh my god. Hello. What you up to? My chat is looking dead. Let's start a conversation. Hello. How are you doing? Oop. People keep checking in for like 20 seconds and they're like, I'm out. I'm out of here. I don't I don't want it. That's fine. I hope you find what you do want. When I turned on the scale, it was sitting on a wire, so it's measuring 9.7 ounces with nothing on it. Sometimes if you just push down on it, it'll reset. But I can hit the tare button and it'll just pretend like that 9 ounces was never there. And whenever it auto shuts off, it'll get rid of that tare. Five more. I keep putting 1 pound 11 ounces in. It's like I got a really good eye for 1 pound and 11 ounces. Looks about like 5 ounces. Yep. Not perfect. It was 6. I'm not gonna lie to you people. It was 6 ounces. But 2.1, that's good. that's all the grain bags I'm going to be making right now. And I should be able to make 2 quart jars of the popcorn grain. Let me go grab something. I'll be right back. Sorry to leave you alone like that. I just wanted to go get some of my other jars. Jars of liquid culture. And I also have this jar right here. I've had this jar for like 4 or 5 months. This wall just won't collinate, so I don't think it's contaminated or anything like that, so I'm not sure why this wall or this side won't collinate, but I'm gonna do a grain to bulk transfer on it, and maybe it'll fruit, maybe it won't. Grabbed a bottle of water too. Ooh. Okay. So I made 4 grain bags because I have 4 different jars of culture. This one is the reishi. I did an update maybe a week and a half ago, so this can serve as another update. No! Thank God that didn't break. Oh my God. If you had to walk one day in my shoes. No, I'm joking. But, so I'm gonna use this whole jar for this, but no, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's a joke. I'm going to use very little, like very, very, very little, like 1 cc of this, and that'll collinate this whole bag. Same goes for all the other jars I'm about to show. This one is the shiitake. Give it a little twirl. See how beautiful that is as it dances around in the jar, just waiting. So full of potential. That's one of the beautiful things about it. This jar represents more than just mushrooms or liquid culture. It's potential. Yeah. Now we have my favorite, personal favorite, turkey tail. See, it's growing pretty well in there. This jar is pretty cloudy, but it's not an issue. It's just the most cloudy jar I've had so far. And of course, last but not least, everybody's favorite nootropic, lion's mane. This one's growing pretty slow, but it's really healthy, and that's the most important part. Just one giant clump of lion. One giant clump of potential. So, each one of these jars, I'm going to take 1 cc out. I don't want to take much out of the jar because I'm still waiting for them to colonate, but just taking a cc, as long as I'm careful and sanitary about it, it should not be a problem. Fingers crossed. So, let's check on the corn. So I got my 4 green bags. I could probably fit 2 in each pressure cooker. I'll take them about 2.5 hours for them to sterilize. And I have a sheet, I guess you could call it, of these self-injecting, I wish, self-healing injection ports. And I'll stick them around about right here so that I can inoculate it. And then after I'm done with this bag and I'm ready to recycle the substrate, and which all I do is just dump it in my garden, but I can just take that injection port off. You know, it's not like because I put the injection port on this bag, that means, you know, you gotta throw the baby out with the bath water. You can reuse injection ports. They're self-healing. Not self-injecting. Not yet. I want to be careful with these, because if one rips open, well, gotta start over. Everything looks good. It's been cold enough that I've just been leaving these jars in the mushroom farm right over here, like enclosed. You know, not just out in the open in the under this canopy, because I imagine if they freeze, it could potentially break the jar, and it almost certainly would kill the mycelium in it. I don't know that for a fact, but I don't want to run the experiment. I have no reason to run the experiment. I can just put them inside somewhere. These are the kinds of jars I'm going to make the grain jars with. I modified the lids myself. North Spore, whenever you order things like this from them, they come in pre-modified. But before I started using any of their products, I would just do it myself. The microspore patches and the self-healing injection ports, they are not expensive. Like, there's nothing about this hobby or even the business per se that's expensive. It just takes a lot of patience. On the table over here, I got a lot of leftover substrate. I'm just going to sweep it on the floor. It's not enough to worry about. I don't think so, at least. Trying to reposition you guys. There we go. Go ahead and clean this stuff off while I'm right here. This doesn't have any sugar in it. The substrate that I'm wiping off the table and just right onto the floor, it has plenty of nutrition, and I guess everything has sugar in it that's alive, right? At least I think so. But I meant like added sugar, like you would find in corn syrup. So I'm not worried about ants or any other insects. And it's winter, so, or at least it is on paper. Anybody like kratom? Are you still here, Todd? Projects, I mean, because I can go over the cultures again. I'm making grain bags and grain jars, and the types of mushrooms. We got lion's mane, reishi, turkey tail, and shiitake. This is the most beautiful mycelium jar. I mean, just look at that stuff. Trying to make sure I got a decent angle here. This is a paid advertisement for Aroma, just so everybody here knows. They're funding this whole project. Now let's check on this corn. Got my handy dandy wooden spoon. It still has a little bit to go. Pro tip for anybody that doesn't have a lot of experience with cooking, something I've run into in the past with friends, family, not really family, but you know, friends and whatnot. Make sure you stir the pot because things will become burned at the bottom. So you want to scrape it to make sure stuff doesn't stick to it and ruin your meal because the taste of burnt just it doesn't go away. Like it doesn't matter how much seasoning you put on it. If you burned it, you burned it. That's it. It's just gonna taste burnt, and you killed most of the nutrition. It's like so. Stir your pot and scrape the bottom while you're doing so. I try. I don't always succeed, but I do try to keep my work area as clean as I can. And like that I is doing a lot of work. As clean as I can. Not as clean as possible, as clean as I'm able to make it. What's up? How's it going? We're just waiting on some corn to cook so I can add it to a jar. And then I can add that to a pressure cooker. I tried some of those in a chocolate bar. No thanks. Made me dream, and that's a no thanks. Okay. I love dreaming, but if you're not into it, you're not into it. And yes, I did. Ray, she. But now I don't know. Oh, shiitake, yes. Shiitake and reishi. Hello. Yes, jars. How's it going, Damon? I got some jars right over here. This is the turkey tail jar. Yeah, this is a bad angle to see it. Plus, that turkey tail jar is really cloudy. Reishi. This is a bad angle. I got two more jars, but You'll have to take my word for it. I've got a couple of homemade liquid culture jars that I made, and I inoculated them, and they are just so cloudy and just bad looking. The mycelium in them is growing fine, but it's like black because I didn't filter it well enough. So we'll see what happens with that stuff. Oh, thank you, Damon. And yes, all is well over here. Happy holidays. Wait, no, holidays are over. Oh, thank God. Yes, holidays are over. But Happy New Year. I mean, that's the fun part about the bar, is that I can walk around with it. Looking like a crazy person, but like, so what? The actual farm is looking kind of sad right now. I go this way. So, I don't have anything going in here right now. Over here is just tools. But I had a bunch of tubs in here, but I messed up, so I had to take them out of here, get them away from everything else. Oh, thank you. I love this outfit too. You know, even though I'm not growing psychedelic mushrooms, people are just going to assume I am, so I might as well dress for the occasion. There's a ton of work that I've been needing to do in here as well. Hopefully I can get most of that stuff done. Jeez. I know this is a weird angle, but I just don't feel like standing anymore. I need to finish covering the walls and the ceiling with the Reflecton. I mean, it just looks better. This looks so thrown together. And that's because it was so thrown together. I just kind of threw it together. I bought one tool for while I was building the farm and stuff. Yeah, they did. They all did. It was sad. I didn't recycle the tubs. I moved them out of here, and I tried to cut out the parts that turned green, and I don't like. They're not dead. They're not. You know, I'm not going to abandon them, but I also needed to get them out of here, and since so much stuff in here got contaminated, I'm going to have to reevaluate how sanitary this area actually is. So I have a couple of security breaches, we can call it, that I'm very aware of, that I didn't think would be a huge problem, but I guess it is. Yeah, there we go. So I wanted some kind of ventilation, but I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just something I had going. Because I don't know. I don't know. And then down here, it's behind this. So I don't think it's a problem, but it's another vent just like that one up there. And I know I'm in America and I'm in Texas, but that's not a real gun, if you're curious. This is actually a VR gun stock. I got a Quest 3 and this, well, the magnetic parts, they're for the Quest 3 controllers. I just thought it would look cool hanging up back there. I haven't gotten as much use out of it as I would have liked. I just kind of fell out of shooters. Not completely, but I'm not into it as much as I used to be. I do have another tub that went green, but not in the way that I would have expected. Yay, mushrooms. Yes. Thank you. Some of the North Spore is great, and but some of the Spore Works syringes I've gotten, it seems like every time I try to use their syringes, it is contaminated, like right off the bat. So I'm not going to order from them anymore. And I was using the same tools for tubs that had grain from Sporeworks in them on everything else, which is a big no-no. Like, you should sterilize your tools in between each tub, and that was just dumb on my part, but it happens, and I've never had a failure quite that large, you know? So it's definitely a learning experience, like, no doubt about it. Lesson learned. But like I started to say, I do have another tub here that turned green, and I honestly, I'm not sure how this happened. It's weird, but okay, I'll show you. So somehow a bunch of grass seeds or something got into this tub, and so a bunch of grass grew in the tub, and I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm just gonna see what happens, because why not? But you can see the mycelium in there growing, but you can also see the trick turning the mycelium, like coating it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just an experiment. Whenever I opened, or I didn't open it when I first noticed, but I just had this tub laying around for months. So whenever I was looking at it and I noticed all this green, I was like, what in the hell? So whenever I opened it and it was full of grass, which honestly, that looks like wild garlic more than anything else. Definitely doesn't look like the kind of grass that grows around here. So I really genuinely have no idea. That's not a good thing, but at least it's kind of entertaining. But this is one of the jars. I made the liquid culture media myself. Let me get a better... Here we go. You can see it's in there. It's growing. Whenever I first inoculated this jar, there was a ton of dust or dirt floating around in it, but it was all specks. So I know the mycelium is growing just fine in there. And I'm not afraid of contamination, because if it is dirt and I just didn't filter it well enough, whenever I made it, it's not really going to be that big of a deal, because after I made the jars, they did 2 runs through a pressure cooker. So whatever might have been in the dirt, it's definitely dead. So it's just going to be dirty mycelium, but it's just going to be mycelium, so that's fine. It can in some cases, but don't count on it. Like if you start to notice contamination and you do get one harvest out of the tub or bag, like be happy with that. Don't expect to get more than one fruit out of it. But this is my other jar of homemade liquid culture. It was the same deal as the other one with it being kind of full of dust or dirt. So I know the mycelium is growing in there. It just looks dirty. But that's PS Nat something. It's none of the turkey tail lion's mane cubensis. It's none of those. It's something completely different. PS something? Nat Tula or something? I don't know. And then I guess I'm just doing show and tell right now. Then over here, I've had this jar for at least 6 months. And it's just barely had any growth. You can see I have a big chunk of mycelium at the top there. But it just doesn't want to colonate the rest of the freaking jar. But it hurts nothing to just have it going, you know? So I'm not going to abort on that one. I'm just going to, hey, maybe I'll have it for 3 years. Maybe. I doubt it, but, you know. I'm just saying I'm not going to try to hit the reset button on it. I'm just going to let it go. And now we're back under the canopy. And I could check on the corn. And I left the bar in the mushroom farm. Oh well. I have this other bar right here. I guess I can show that real quick, because why not? So, this one, I got this magnet strip, which I'm also using magnet strips right here and here. Usually there's a lot more tools on them. I've just kind of let everything get shoveled. But see, I zip tied the magnet bar to a ruler, and then boop. It's getting there. Gonna vape, because why not? I bought something to improve my audio on the phone streams, but I just forgot to hook it up or plug it in, clip it on before I started the stream. But it's lav mics, I guess is what they're called. Lapel. Is that why they're called that? I really genuinely don't know. But whenever I'm playing with Darcy and it's windy, the audio on the stream, it's just so terrible. So I can clip one of these in here, you know, on here or whatever. Whatever, you know. and hopefully the audio will be better. Hopefully I'll remember to plug it in. We'll see. But, you know, it's something to look forward to if you want to stick around. No, it's popcorn. I'm grabbing the bag, and I also have a thing of corn syrup around here. It's such a small work area, I shouldn't be losing stuff, but it's just regular popcorn. It's like $1 something a bag. And I put a shot of corn syrup on it while it's cooking. I'm sure that's around here somewhere. I also got my trusty Sawzall out here. Where would any of us be without one of these bad boys? Should probably put it in its place. If you watch for a while, you'll probably start to notice that most of my equipment, as far as tools go, is Craftsman. Craftsman and Cobalt. Those are my two brands. I want to keep that. I want to stay in their battery ecosystem, so I don't have a bunch of random chargers all over the place with different batteries. The craftsmen out there, they'll know what I'm talking about. This stuff sucks. You would think this stuff would be amazing, but it's not. It sucks. And this right here ain't much better. My first go-to to try to get the insulation panels installed in the farm was to glue it. But the spray glue, it just started to dissolve the insulation panels. I was like, that's not good. And also, I need to get away from this area because whatever fumes that's putting off probably is the #1 cause of cancer. Probably. And it's like, why do you care? You smoke cigarettes. And fair point. I can't say nothing. And then, yeah, so that didn't work. And I also tried this, but the panels, I couldn't get it pressed quite right enough against the wall, and it just wouldn't stick. Come on, corn. Whenever you're making the drizzy corn, you want to be careful that you don't overcook it, because if the corn, not the corn, but the corn syrup caramelizes, the mycelium doesn't like that, and you're going to have trouble colonating the jars. Like I did 4 quart jars, and yeah, I overcooked the mycelium. Oh my god. Oh my god. Figure out what I was trying to say, and then that's what I was trying to say. There it is. There's the corn syrup. And if you've seen my overthinking corn syrup video, this right here was the cause of my overthinking. The vanilla extract. It's like, oh my god, it said plain unflavored corn syrup. And that says right there, vanilla. That is flavor. Does not matter. I was way overthinking it. It's like, what the hell? You're good. I'm good. Everything's good here. As long as you don't overcook it in the pot and cause the sugar to caramelize, you're good. It's up to you. I mean, you just add the corn syrup at the beginning just to make it easier. You know, I made the mistake of overcooking it. That was my bad. I wasn't doing it in a rice cooker, which just, the thing pops up when it's done. I was actually using a very, very tall pot. I'll be right back. I'll get the pot. I was using this seafood pot, so I just let it go too long. And you can use one of these pots to sterilize grain jars. I've done it on stovetop before. It's really inconvenient unless you have a humongous kitchen. This is one of those, but without a million corpses on it. But the real way you should go about it is you should just get a burner and do it outside where you don't have to worry about if you have enough room or not. Because if you don't have enough room outside for this, then I think we got way bigger problems on our hands. So. But at 212 temperature for 2.5 hours, you can sterilize grain jars and grain bags in one of these. It's not recommended for grain bags because they're thicker than the grain jar counterparts. You want to do the grain bags in a pressure cooker because the pressure cooker allows the heat to penetrate the grains deeper and, to actually sterilize it instead of sanitize it. But for your jars, you can use one of these all freaking day. You're not gonna have a problem. I used to use soup pots and just do it on my countertop, stovetop. My dogs are freaking out. My neighbors. They just moved in. I'm gonna keep their stuff off camera. No. No. But yeah, they just moved in about a week before Christmas, so no matter how busy I say I was on the holidays, they were undoubtedly tremendously more busy. I really just wanted to see what they were freaking out about, but there's chairs. There's chairs here, so I'm gonna sit down for a minute. Hey, girl. But you can put the corn syrup in it at the end. One time, I just forgot about the corn syrup. So what I did is I put some corn syrup in some water. This is before I put it in the pressure cooker. But I put some corn syrup in some water in a little dish, like a little bowl, and I just put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds and stirred it around so that the like it mixed together enough to where I could suck it up into a syringe. And then I just inoculated each jar with that corn syrup melted into the water. And it worked just fine. It worked really well. It probably was one of my. Oh, I just hit a freaking wind chime. But it was probably one of the best goes I had on the grain jar. So that is something to consider. That is totally doable. But you got to do that before you sterilize the grain jars. If you try to do it afterwards, it's just you better put it back in the pressure cooker because you just messed up. Okay, let's go check on the corn. That was enough of a sit down. I just gotta keep my address off there. I figure once I get big and famous, I'll delete these streams so that the millions of, obsessed fans won't know where I live. But until then, still want to be cautious about it. There we go. Now Darcy's barking at me like, wait, Matt, you just got here. You were supposed to play with us. It's like, no, I just wanted to see what you're freaking out about because they were freaking out pretty hard. Oh, there's my neighbor's house. I don't want to invade anyone else's privacy. Privacy, as you say in the UK. Privacy. I want to keep my zebras privacy. I'm clueless. I am clueless. I've done that with the foil. I had these little jars, like pretty tiny, that I would make rice flour cakes, and they worked well. And I liked that I could just inoculate them with a little bit of live culture, and within a couple of weeks I could have a cake fruiting, So they were convenient on that front. But if you want like a big harvest and you really want some mushrooms, like the mushroom cakes that you just make in a jar, they're not going to get you, If you just want some, heck yeah, but like if you and your friends want some, I hope you made a lot of them. Oh, yep. Don't get much out of them. My thoughts exactly. It starts to get really cold around here as soon as the sun starts to go down, even a little bit. And unfortunately, we're in the season where the sun goes down super early. I don't like that. I don't like the cold. I don't like none of that stuff. I want long days and hot nights. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to make that work. Oh, that's pretty good. I've never gotten a cake to fruit more than twice. That goes for mono tubs and the rice flour cakes that I do in jars. Damn, that didn't work at all. Oh well. It's too uncomfortable. I'll just deal with it. Nice. What are you watching me for? You sound like you got a better handle on the game than I do. To see if the corn is done, you can just pop a kernel out. And if it just smushes with no problem, I'm using the wooden spoon to try it out. Yep. Oop. Oop. That other one smushed just fine, but it's not smushed. Oh my god! Oh my god! A couple of them fell on the ground. Maybe I won't squeeze it out of my fingertips, so. No, it's. It's not squishing super easy. Or easy at all. The other one squished so easy. Maybe just a couple more minutes. Hell yeah. I encourage it. I have a garage here that I thought about doing it in, but with the winter coming, I really want to put my car in there, so. But it's not a bad idea. I always want my projects to be bigger than they are. Like, my plans are always way more grand. So hopefully with this mushroom farm and Hyphenation, the business, the company, it will actually get to those grand planned levels. You know, I can manifest, you know, whatever those people that say that kind of stuff mean whenever they say that. And not manifest destiny, that's very different. That's like evil shit. But, you know, like the white women, what they mean when they say manifest it, those manifestations. White woman just left. She was like, hell no. I don't want this. Don't call me out like that. I'll manifest my way out of your chat. Let's see. There's a window right behind where the camera is, and I thought I saw someone walking for a second. Oh, it's just my shadow. Yeah. It's gone forever. I swear I keep hearing something walking on the other side of here. There are cats that will patrol this area. I can see them. My office, it's like right there. I can see the farm and this canopy from my office where I do all my YouTube stuff. So I see the cats patrolling and stuff like that. But corn kernel, spoon. Oop. Yeah, they are not wanting to give. Yeah. Guess they're not. The person I learned this from, they had nails. So that's how they would check it. They're like, if you can dig your nail in there, it's good. But yeah, I don't have nails. There we go. I ripped it in half. There we go. Yeah. What an accomplishment, I know. The Sweet Life. Just found your channel. Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm not 100% sure who you are, but I'll check you out for sure. I'm not saying I haven't seen any of your videos, but most of the time I am not looking at the names of the YouTube channels, like especially if I'm just clicking on random videos. And I do that because like I'm actually on my computer, not on my smartphone doing that. Awesome, thank you. Hopefully one day I'll be past the up and coming channel and I'll be here or there or everywhere, right? Thank you, Damon. Oh, okay. Heck yeah. I've thought about doing stuff like that, you know, streaming, just work like that. It's like very zen, I find, to do it. I don't really like watching that kind of content, but whenever I start cleaning or doing, you know, any kind of work like that, I'm able to get to a place where I'm just like meditating in it. And I'm going to try, and I do try to keep good vibes going on this channel. And I would love to continue doing that. So hopefully I can go watch a couple of your videos and I'll get some of your good vibes. And then some people can watch a couple of my videos and get my good vibes. And then the whole world, we can just keep doing that, right? Tried to get a good look and freaking fogged up my glasses. The only thing I don't like about that Aroma rice cooker is you can't turn it off. Like, the only setting other than cook is warm. So if you just want something to hang out in there, you gotta unplug it, which isn't a huge deal, but you know, why can't my life be perfect, right? And yes, Sweep, you are always, always welcome here. And so is everybody else. Everybody is always welcome here. Oh no, I didn't take it as hate. Not at all. I didn't take it like that at all. I knew exactly where you were coming from and I appreciate it. I try anytime I find a channel with less than 1,000 subscribers, even if it's not a genre of video that I love, I'll go through a couple of them and give it a like and watch it for at least 5 minutes. You know, like you said, we're small YouTubers on the up and up, and we gotta support each other because God knows YouTube, the institution of YouTube, is not. I'm just waiting for the corn to cool off a little bit before I transfer it to jars. Kramer's Backyard. Great shirt, love it. Thank you. This is more of a hoodie, but I do have a shirt on under it that I think is really cool as well, as you can see. But thank you. We're all about peace and love here. When I used to work at Buc-ee's, there was a song that would play all the time called Hillbilly Hippie. And it was like, peace and love in my heart. You know, it was a woman singing it. And it wasn't like a terrible song, but I've known a lot of hillbillies in my life, and I wouldn't exactly classify them as hippies in the traditional sense of the word. But, I mean, hillbillies are pretty cool. I just don't think they're hippies. But I'm sure there are hillbilly hippies. But I doubt that she was one. But, so what? It's a pop song. I know it's country, but it's pop. Let's be real here. Real here. Let's be real here. Digging the apparel. Thank you. We're doing 4 different strains right now of mushrooms. That's why I made these grain bags earlier today. and I'm working on making grain jars. This is corn, by the way. It looks pretty good. It smells really good too. You can tell when it's done. Like, I unplugged it. Whenever the water starts to run out, that's really how you know it's done. Do, 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 do. But yes, jars. Got the lion's mane here. Here we go. Got the lion's mane here. This one is growing the slowest out of all of my live cultures. Trying to get a good shot. Here is the shiitake. There you go. Trying to... This is currently my favorite jar of live culture, which I never thought I would say, but the mycelium in this jar is just so freaking beautiful. I cannot get over it. And I've had a lot of mycelium in a lot of jars, and it has never been beautiful. Oh, I disconnected. Sorry about that. But what I was saying is this is the most beautiful mycelium I've ever seen in my life. And I've made a lot of live culture jars, and I've never had one that looked this beautiful and elegant inside the jar. It's like, it's just dancing in there, and it's just so beautiful. I really love just staring at mycelium and mushrooms and stuff. I just love it. It's like staring at nature. I just love sitting around staring at nature as well. Here is reishi. Let's see. This jar, it is full of mycelium, but it is just so cloudy. And I haven't done a jar of reishi before, so I don't know if that's normal. But it is, you know, if it's not normal, it's growing really fast. So I don't think it's a problem. I'll just have to Google it. Let me look at some of these messages. That's the window I was talking about, where I thought I saw something walking. I had a really bad experience a few years ago with shrooms because I decided to grind up most of an eighth, a little water, and mandarin orange juice because I want the feeling it the night before. Took it all as a shot, and not 20 minutes later, I was in existential crisis mode. Yeah, that will happen. I have never had it happen to me. Okay, wasn't feeling it the night before. I gotcha. Usually if you take mushrooms one night and then try it again the next night, it just won't affect you. But as far as like existential crisis mode, I know I said that'll happen. And from all the reports I've ever heard from psychonauts and stuff, it will happen. I have never had anything like that happen to me, not even close. And I have gone really deep in a lot of different psychedelics. And I've never had that experience with any of them. Good for me, I know. But I know those experiences happen. I'm just kind of letting you know that, like, hey, I feel for you. I'm sorry that happened, but I really don't know how to relate to it. But one of the strongest mushroom trips I've ever had, I did pretty much the same thing you did, but with 7 grams instead of an eighth, so a quarter. And I made the tea, and then I put a little packet. It's 4C energy packets. They sell them at Walmart. I was not planning on tripping like that, but oh my god, that was one of the most intense trips I've ever had, and it was amazing. Like, I was meeting up with someone that night to discuss our D&D characters, and this person didn't know I was tripping, and I wasn't planning on telling them either. But as soon as we saw each other, I was like, hey, just so you know, I am tripping really hard right now. I didn't mean to do that, but it's happening. Now let's proceed. And we had one of the most amazing collaborations I've ever had. It was just like a really fun night. It was scary. I felt like I could access parts of my brain I wasn't allowed to, and it was scared if if I kept up going, I was going to turn something off in my brain and die. Yeah, like when you're tripping, you can trick yourself into thinking anything, but I don't believe you can turn off certain parts of your brain like that. I think you actually have to get like brain damage, because I know parts of your brain very much can get turned off. That is a very well documented phenomenon. The most I've done like 20 grams. Like, I'm not even joking. I have I have seriously gone so freaking deep. Because I did the same thing with DMT. That'll make sense in a second. So, I had always heard that there were entities that you could speak with, and when you were tripping really crazy hard. And I had tripped tons of times really crazy hard, and I never found these entities. So I was like, I'm gonna force it. I was like, I'm gonna go as deep as I can, and I just freaking 20 grams, just shove it in my mouth. And I didn't meet them, but I got to a place within that trip that I feel like I understand them now, and they're not entities, they're parts of your brain, just the different parts of your brain. Like, I believe that within ourselves there are an amalgamation of personalities and like character archetypes, if you want to call it that, where, because like even in my day-to-day life there'll be times where I'm interacting with someone, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm conscious and I'm aware, but I'm like, this isn't how I wanted to approach this situation. So the situation ends and I reflect on it, and it's like, in the moment it kind of does feel like one of those other, what would be considered entities in like the DMT realm. I'm like, I think that's just certain parts of your brain, and sometimes they take over. And if you get high enough, your brain will just have a conversation with itself, and it'll seem like an outside entity, but when in reality, it's just human psychology is just so elaborate and so complex that we don't understand it. So whenever you throw a bunch of LSD, LSA, psilocybin in there, it's like, whoa, you know? But I could be wrong, of course. Maybe it is tapping into a spirit realm. I don't know. Yes, I've tried. I haven't tripped with another person since I was a teenager. And I'm in my 30s now. I'm not close to it. I would love to do that, but it just seems like most of the people I meet in my adult life, it's like maybe they smoke weed, maybe. But if you bring up stuff like shrooms, it's like they distance themselves from you. Because as far as popular culture is concerned, mushrooms are like dangerous and evil. That's starting to change now, I've noticed. Especially since 2020, I think a lot of people said, okay, yeah, it's dangerous, whatever, I don't care anymore. Like, I can only go through so many, once in a lifetime experiences before I stop caring and I stop taking this shit so seriously. So, bring it on, give me the mushrooms. I really, 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 really want to do LSA with someone, like a specific kind of someone, like a lover, you know? Like, LSA is amazing. It's probably the most amazing psychedelic I have ever tried. Like, every time I've gone deep with LSA, I feel like I came away with a life altering experience for the better. But it's also, you can do low doses of LSA and it just feels like Molly. It just feels exactly like Molly, just with a twinge of shrooms, maybe. If you go deep, it's just like the most intense LSD trip you've ever had. I've never tried LSD, but I've read about it enough to know what it is. But I want to do it with a lover because it is just, for me, it is just inherently sexual. There is so much sexual energy whenever I do LSA. And if I don't have a partner, it's just kind of bottled up. And it's like, I can deal with it. But, if I given the opportunity, I would love to try LSA with someone I love. And, they're that person for me. You mean here as in YouTube or America? Oh, LSA? What's that? So there's two ways to get LSA. There's three ways, but the third way is not worth thinking about because to get LSA the third way, first you have to make LSD, which is a whole thing, and then you would convert the LSD to LSA. And that's just way overcomplicating the process. What I do, I get Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds. They're like about this big. And four of them for me is the minimum, and that's pretty good. But to really trip, you're gonna be looking more at 12 to 15. Whenever I first started experimenting with the Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds, I was making cold water extracts because I read so many things. People complaining about like crushing up or chewing up the seeds and having terrible stomach cramps. But I did the cold water extract about 3 or 4 times and I was like, this is horrible. This tastes so disgusting. It's so hard to drink that I will take the stomach cramps. And so I just grinded a bunch of them up in a coffee grinder because like I grind up my own coffee beans. So I had it. And I did like 10 because I'm like, screw it, let's do this. And I really didn't experience much stomach cramps. I felt it for like a minute, like seriously a minute. It was like, all of a sudden it's like, okay, my gut's a brick. And I didn't like run to the bathroom or anything. It's like, oh my God, that actually genuinely really hurts. But after the minute was gone, the trip kicked in. And like I said, LSA, it feels a lot like Molly. So it's like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And every time I did the cold water extract, the first time I did it, I used like 7 seeds because it was my first time. And you always low and slow. You can always take more, you can't take less. So I did first extract, cold water extract with 7 seeds. Didn't really get much out of it, but I was like, hey, it's an experiment. Let me read something real quick. But of course, this is the proper see a business. Yes, yeah, the psychedelic stuff, I didn't like grow or make any of that. Those are all things that, people out in the world. Hyphenation, the same name as my YouTube channel, is the name of my LLC as well. And it's just, I guess, mainstream mushrooms is the best way to put it. But what was I saying? Talking about stomach cramps. Okay, so the first time I made the cold water extract, it was with 7 seeds, and I really hated it. Not the feeling, but the cold water extract was terrible. So the second time, I was like, okay, let's go a little bit deeper, and I did 14. And you can do more seeds in a cold water extract because you're not going to get all the LSA. So the general rule of thumb is if it takes 4 seeds, you're going to need 8 for your cold water extract. That's just a general rule. So did the thing with 16, same deal. Oh my God, that tasted terrible and I barely felt it. So third time, I was like, okay, I did it 3 times, now that I think about it. I wasn't sure if it was 4, but it was 3 times. So third time, I was like, I'm done playing around here. I am done playing with you, LSA. We're gonna do this. So I got 32 seeds. And I made a cold water extract out of that. And the taste was the worst it had ever been. The trip was decent. But I did purge before it kicked in, which I know some people like that. I don't. But, I don't. If I have to do it before the trip starts, that's fine. But I would rather skip it if possible. So the 32 seeds is like, okay, this is like the cold water extract itself tasted so bad and it was so hard for me to drink that I was like, I am just going to have to deal with it. So I got 12 seeds and I grinded them up in my coffee machine or coffee grinder, and I put them in a capsule kind of similar to this but 000 instead of single 0. So a capsule like this. This is kratom. And the 12 seeds fit in it just fine. And that was one of the most amazing experiences I have ever had in my entire life. I am not overselling this. This is so amazing. And the only cramps I had was, like I said, for like a minute. It was like, ah! But once that went away, I was tripping for like 8 hours. And I didn't actually come down until I woke up the next day. Like, I was tripping for like 8 hours, but I was probably awake for another 14 hours or so. Or I was awake for like 14 hours, and 8 of those, because I did it when I woke up, 8 of those I was tripping. But even like before I went to bed, it was still kind of like, you know what I mean? So, very highly recommend it from me. And Hawaiian Baby Wood Rose seeds, you can just get them. Like, you can grow Hawaiian Baby Wood Rose. And the other place that you can get LSA is in Morning Glory seeds. I would not recommend that because you literally need hundreds, if not thousands, of morning glory seeds to get the same effect of 10 Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds. And if you take the Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds like pills, they're not going to do anything. The LSA is in like the center of the seed. So you gotta chew it or grind it up first. But this is not advice. Don't do this. This is illegal. I'm just telling you what people would do if they wanted to do something illegal with Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds. I would never recommend anything like that. That's irresponsible and it's not cool. I don't care what this hoodie says. I don't do drugs, especially not psychedelics. I see you, FBI guy. And CIA guy, I know that you don't have charter to operate in the USA, so you better go away. Because I'm in the USA. I think this corn should be cold enough for me to transfer it over. I encourage it, Sweep Life. I really do. And you too, Damon. No, not. I've never tried Datura, but no, not like that at all. Datura is like evil shit that people use to take advantage of. You know who. They get taken advantage of enough. They don't need any Datura. I know you weren't saying anything like that. I'm just saying LSA is not like that in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. Up with hope, down with dope, man. Hello, fellow 30-year-old. Yeah, it's not like that at all. You're not outside of your own control at all. You remain in control the entire time. Unlike Datura. So, it's one of the jars I'm gonna be filling. Modified drone. There we go. Looking for gloves. And like I said, this corn, this grain, these grain jars are gonna go in a pressure cooker. So it doesn't matter that I'm using a dirty glove. That does not matter at all. And I just scoop it up. It's the fastest, easiest way. Just scoop it on up in there. $42. Okay. 9 years apart. I'm 33. So I'm sure we had a lot of the PSAs. They don't want the kids to do drugs, but they're not willing to invest any money in outreach programs, so everything got recycled. I'm sure Gen Z was hearing the same up with hope, down with dope line. Yeah, no problem. I mean, like I've said, I'm a pretty open book. I'll volunteer a ton of information, but I'm also open to just answering any kind of questions people might have. As far as honesty goes, your mileage may vary. Just up front. like the broad strokes will all be true, but like whenever it gets down to the details, and I'll be like, oh shit, I actually can't remember. Okay, I can improv something here. Unless it's something that matters, then I'll be like, I don't know. I have no problem saying I don't know, but if it doesn't matter if I know or not, I will totally grift it out. Grift out that whole conversation. But I'm honest about it too. Like, how does that make sense? I don't know, but it feels right to me. I don't know. Don't matter. I had a funnel. I have a funnel, but it's inside. I'll just keep scooping it up by hand. Whenever I first started doing this, I don't know why, but for some reason, I would sit here and try to fill it up like that. It would take so long. I would just be standing there for like 20 minutes like, oh my god. I feel like this is taking too long. And yeah, it is. Just grab it. Just pick it up. You know what? I'm screwing up. I forgot a step. I forgot a step to the process. I have to let this dry a little bit. This stuff is so wet. I've skipped it before, but I'm getting towards the bottom of this. And I see, you know, all the moisture that I'm grabbing up. Sorry about that. Colander. There we go. Let's do it the right way. Have a nice day, sweet life, and I hope I see you around here more often. That would be awesome. You're a man of your word. I assume you're a man. I haven't looked at your channel yet, but if you are a man of your word, and you do just put out good vibes. That's awesome, and I appreciate you being here and doing that for everybody here. I hear my dogs, that's why I moaned or sighed. This neighborhood I live in, for whatever reason, the past 6 months or so, people decided that they don't care about keeping their dog in their fence or whatever. So, I mean, y'all saw the videos whenever Darcy got bit, and then she's probably not the only one, and I've seen a ton of other dogs running around too. And I've seen the Great Pit Bull running around even after our incident, so it's like, come on. It's like, if I was a crappy person and just didn't care and had no empathy. It's like, I could get all of your dogs killed, you know? Like, I'm just speaking to the neighborhood. It's like, animal control, all you gotta do is say, that dog bit me, that dog barked at me, that dog threatened me, that dog made me feel unsafe. And guess what's gonna happen to that dog? Nothing good, nothing I want to happen. That's why even that dog that bit Darcy, I didn't file an affidavit with animal control, because what if that dog got put down? I don't want that shit on me. But at the same time, it's like, what are we supposed to do? Can we just not be outside without roaming dogs? And it's not like I'm in a bad neighborhood either. And I've noticed that this isn't just a complaint that I have, just browsing the internet. I know that most of the stuff you read online is not true, and, it's mostly just propaganda and crap, but it seems like a lot of people are complaining about not, people not securing their dogs. And it's like, okay, I'm reading it here and I'm seeing it in real life, so this is something that I might actually be able to trust. So I just don't get it. It's like, don't you love your dog? Like, don't you want to secure your dog? Don't you want to make sure they're safe? Like, not only for everyone else's safety, like other animals and other people, but also for your dog. Because most people driving around, they're not looking at the road. So you think they're gonna notice your dog standing there in the road wagging its tail? And what you do? You didn't secure it, so it's your fault. It's just something I really hate to see, and it's not good for anybody. So I do kind of get on a rant about it. But here's the corn in the colander. Let's see, 2:25. I think that's pretty good for today. I think this is the longest stream I've done so far. This is definitely the longest one, but the ones that have Darcy in the thumbnail, they get way more views. But that's cool. I think I've said it before, but whenever I started this channel, I knew Darcy would be the star and I would be the afterthought. So I'm totally fine with it. But it looks like things are starting to slow down around here, so I'm going to call it for today. Unfortunately, I did forget that one step where I didn't dehydrate the corn or let it, dry a little bit. But Damon, I appreciate you being here as always. The Sweep Life. I'm going to check out your channel. I'm sure it's amazing. And everybody else that came in and everybody else that asked questions, I appreciate it. Everybody that's been here has been absolutely great. I haven't seen any negative comments. Maybe Damon was right on the ball and, was able to shield me from it. So if that is the case, thank you. But if not, I really love how awesome people were here today. After the transfer, will you cook them in the pressure cooker? Yes. The corn right there, once I transfer it over to the jars, then I will sterilize it in the pressure cooker. And same goes for the grain bags over there. But until then, I'm definitely going to try to do that on stream, but maybe not, But thank you for being here. It's been awesome, guys. And I hope y'all have a nice night.